everybody, and welcome back to Blanche Fitness. It's Wednesday, and you know what that means. It's time for Jump Around, our weekly cardio class, and I just realized that my hair matches my pants. I promise I don't do these things deliberately. Like, seriously, did not come in here meaning to do that, but you know, happy accidents, happy wardrobe accidents. I think it just happens because I'm drawn to similar colors, like whether it be hair color or clothing colors. But anyway, hi, hello everybody. We're halfway through the week. Yay! Those afternoon yawns are back. I hope that your week's going well. I definitely have a lot more energy today than I did yesterday, which is a very nice feeling. And I hope you do too, if you were. Oh, hello, little spider buddy. Yeah, you run into the corner. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. So many little spider buds running around the house, doing their part to, you know, catch the other more annoying insects. So, go spider buds. I remember one of the first places that I lived in here in Colorado. There was a wasp's nest somewhere like right outside, and the wasps were continually getting in, and there was a little spider web and in one of the windows. And one day I came into I think it was my bedroom, and there was a freaking wasp in the spider web, and I was like, Spider, you are doing great work. I'm proud of you, Spider. So, yay, I love spiders. Spiders are great. They are misunderstood and oft maligned critters, but I think they do good work. Anyway, I don't know why why we went down the spider tangent. I mean, aside from me seeing one. Yes, welcome to Blanche Fitness, where you basically just get to follow my brain as it leaps around to whatever topic it's thinking of in a given moment. Hey! Oh my goodness. All right. But yeah, welcome. We're halfway through the week, and you know, it's going pretty well. It is ridiculously hot outside. It has been all in the upper 90s this week, which is just, climate change is real, kids. We gotta do better. We gotta do better while we can. But thankfully there's a basement in this house, because basement structure is very useful in the summertime for a place that keeps quite cool without any particular external intervention. And thank you, alarm, turn you off. So yes, still very grateful for my basement, where I spend most of my days right now. And I think that's a good thing. But it's quite pleasant weather as long as you're just like sitting outside. It's actually kind of cloudy today, which is really nice and relatively rare around here to have an actual like cloudy day. So I may go sit outside and read a book after class, unless the mosquitoes are out, in which case I'll sit inside and read a book. Oh my goodness. See how well, this could be a night to test my citronella candles and see if they do anything. But in the meantime, before I get to book sitting, it's class time. And today's cardio, my friends. So if you are brand new to the stream, hello, welcome. Today's stream is Jump Around. It's our weekly cardio class. We have it on Wednesdays to give ourselves that punch up of energy midweek, when many of us are probably feeling a little bit more worn down and like, oh my God, there's still 2 more days before the weekend. And even if you don't have a Monday to Friday schedule, it's still a good day of the week, I think, for energy infusion. So, body weight exercises, You know the drill. Nothing funky like, well, I guess if you're new to class, you wouldn't know the drill. But the drill is relatively self-explanatory. So, yes. Oh, I am probably going to be taking it easy again because I have had stiffness and soreness in my neck all day, and I don't know what it's from. I didn't wake up that way, which is the weird thing. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I slept weird on my neck and I woke up and it was sore. It just sort of like manifested like a few hours into the day, and I was like, what's happening here? So I still have full mobility, so it's not like an injury. It's just like a super sore muscle, which is really annoying. So gonna keep an eye on that. But in the meantime, what is the drill and how can I learn more about this drill? I don't know. There are too many drills out there. You'll have to find the owner's manual. And those are frequently written in foreign languages. And by foreign, I mean, you know, some sort of Star Trek alien that doesn't speak a language that can be translated by the universal translator. Anyway, before I go down too many more weird brain tangents, let's do our pre-class checklist, my friends. Make sure you have your water, particularly if it is 97 degrees or more where you are, as it is where I am. And seriously, make sure you have AC on or are working out in the basement, something to make sure that you are not going to be negatively impacted by overwhelming heat, all right? I know I'm talking about this a lot, but it is a major consideration when we work out in the summertime, okay? And, you know, we don't necessarily think about that. So, yeah, make sure that you've got that set up. But, I don't get the reference right off the top of my head, so you're gonna have to make a note and tell me about it later. So you've got your water in whatever vessel you are using. You've got your comfy clothes on, whatever that means to you. If that means, you know, moisture wicking spandex and all the latest technology, then go for it. Mike Birbiglia, of course it is. If that means a cotton t-shirt and shorts, go for it. It's all about what is going to make you feel comfortable working out, okay? You've got your mat or mat-sized space on the floor, and if you use a fitness wearable, now is the time to turn them on to high-intensity interval training, all right? Technology. It can be a useful tool. I mean, I'm playing Mass Effect right now, and I'm like right in the middle of philosophical discussions about the Geth, so thinking a lot about technology. But, my friends, we're here. We're feeling a little bit peppier today than we might have been yesterday, or maybe that's just me. I don't know why I use the royal we so much. I should just speak for myself. I'm feeling a bit peppier today than I was yesterday. And that's really nice. And we're gonna have a good workout. So get those mid-afternoon yawns out. And let's go ahead and get started, my friends. Speaker's on, water's there, timer app is somewhere on my phone. There it is. Hey, we got it. We see technology. We've got all the technology that we need. All right, on. Okay, my friends, let's start with that warm up. Oh yeah. Ooh, yeah, lying down is nice. Takes a lot of pressure off that sore neck muscle. All right, so everybody on your mats, on your backs, 1 foot crossed over the opposite knee, and as soon as the timer goes off, we will begin with hip rocks and bridges. All right? Yeah, here we go. So, hip rocks and bridges, a pretty easy exercise to start with, although it's not just about sort of flinging your hips up in the air. Actually, what's really going to help you with the rock is contracting your abdominals. So this is our first chance to start activating those abs. So we push against the floor, yes, but that only really gets our leg up to like here. To continue the momentum, to harness the momentum and keep it going, we contract and lift. Then we bring that standing foot back down to the floor, come up onto the ball of the foot, and then bridge the hips up. That just allows us to get a little bit higher up with our other leg in this position. It just creates a little bit more of a barrier. So make sure that you're coming up onto the ball of the foot when you do that hip bridge. All right, other side, same thing. Remembering too that our warm-up is an opportunity for us to boot up all of the systems that we use during exercise. So we are not coming into this warm-up going, yeah, all right, it's time to give 130%, okay? We are coming into this warm-up saying, okay, it's time to start notifying all of the relevant systems that I'm here to work out. So this is the opportunity for our brain to go, oh, I see that we appear to be moving. Guess I need to start sending the appropriate electrical signals down to the muscles. This is an opportunity for the muscle fibers to go, oh, we appear to be moving. Guess I should activate some of those energy production systems. Make sure that we have enough of surplus, all right? So we're not pushing ourselves too fast, too far, okay? We're moving through the warm-up to really give ourselves a chance to, yes, say it with me, warm up. So now we're in our leg sequence, starting with the Jane Fondas. We are lying in a nice straight line on the mat. If you have difficulty figuring out how to get into that position, maybe you don't know how to sort of feel that spatially, use the long edge of your mat as a guide, okay? So I can set myself up along this and go, all right, well now I know I'm in a straight line. And then I can go, okay, so how does it feel when I am in this position? And that helps us to train our brains to be able to get into this position without needing a guide in future, okay? So, life hacks. All right, now we take that top foot, put it flat on the floor in front of the bottom knee, and we're lifting that bottom leg, all right? So this position is a little more complex than at first it might seem, because we also need to make sure that the knee is pulled back so that it's safely straight over that foot, pointing straight up at the ceiling. And depending on your hip flexibility, you may need to engage some of the muscles in the hip to really pull that knee back, or you may be able to just sort of set it and forget it, okay? And that's going to be individual to you, and it may be different on side one than side two. Certainly is for me. And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we get to side two. But just keep it in mind. Make sure that you're pulling that knee back, pointing it straight up at the ceiling. All right, now that foot goes behind the bottom knee, still lifting the bottom leg. This is our beach pose, okay? Nice and relaxed. This is the easiest one from a form perspective. We're not worrying about our hips rocking back and forth like we are when we're doing the Jane Fonda balance, because we've got this nice stable structure. We don't have to worry about pulling the knee backwards, because this position for the leg sort of does that automatically. So we can really just focus in on the working leg, on the muscle groups that are activating, that are driving the movement, and we can just start to get a sense of what does it feel like when the primary muscle group activates, and what other muscle groups do I notice assisting with this movement, because no exercise just takes one single muscle, my friends. All right, now we go to the other side, same 3 exercises. So starting back with our Jane Fondas, and when we lift the leg, we want to make sure that it's staying in that straight line, all right? And frequently, we can have a tendency to overcorrect in one direction or the other. The most frequent thing I see is people sort of bringing the leg forward of their body. That's certainly something I used to do. And you want to pull the leg backwards, but you don't want to actively be pulling the leg backwards or it starts moving behind your body, which is obviously not what you want to do either. So what I found helps is just making sure that you activate the glute on the working leg. That helps to pull the leg into line without pulling it back too far. All right, foot flat on the floor in front of that bottom knee. So for me, on this side, I need to engage more of the musculature in my hip socket to pull that knee back, because my knee over here naturally wants to cave forward because I don't have the same level of hip flexibility. And the nice thing is that this is pretty low stakes, you know. We're not putting any standing pressure on the leg. If the knee caves forward a bit, it's not the end of the world. But by that same token, this is a great time to practice that safe knee positioning, okay? Because once we stand up and we're doing squats or lunges or anything like that, we are going to want to make sure that we can keep the knee in that position straight over the foot. So we start that work here so that we can translate it to other exercises. All right, back to beach pose. And we're just chilling. I mean, it's 97 degrees out. It would be really nice to be on a beach right now. Not really a lot of beaches in Colorado. I guess there's the reservoir. It's not really the same experience as someone who grew up in a much more tropical area. Definitely not the same experience. But yeah, beach pose. In terms of foot positioning, I'm fairly agnostic. I tend to go between a relatively neutral foot, so not really held in either direction, or a flexed foot like this. But if you are more on the side of dance training, you may want to point your foot like that. Totally fine. Any of those options, I am fine with. All right? Enjoy the opportunity to make those choices. All right. So now we move into our opening up of the hips and the back, starting with our scorpion twists. So we want to make sure our elbows and our forearms are planted on the ground. And then we swing one leg over and behind, trying to get that foot flat on the floor, trying to get that knee pointing up towards the ceiling. And then back and other side. And we just go back and forth. But the main thing, the one non-negotiable here, is you have to keep your elbows and your forearms on the floor, okay? You can't lift an elbow up just to help you twist a little bit farther. This is going to provide you a guide for, okay, that's where my back flexibility is right now. And it's also going to make it easier for you to identify when that flexibility increases. So it's a win-win. All right, now getting on up, and we are going to hold an imaginary PVC pipe above our heads. Start doing nice big torso rotations. Change direction every 2 rotations. That's what I generally do, because we're only doing this for one timer. So you don't want to be circling in the same direction the whole time and then be like, well, I guess I'm totally off kilter now. And remember that we are generating the movement from the hips, okay? So we're not moving the arms and following. We're not diving over with the head. We are folding over from the hips all the way down. Your back will probably curve when you get down to the nadir of this position. That's not the word I wanted, but that's the word we got. But you want to make sure the hips are generating. Now, squat time. What a great opportunity for us to pay attention to that knee positioning that we were talking about when we were doing that earlier leg sequence. So, wanting to make sure that our knees are not caving towards each other at any point, okay? So you may be able to get safely down here, but then as you stand they try to pull together. If that's happening at any point, just narrow the stance a bit and start going again. And you can practice here, build that strength up, build up the ability to maintain this positioning, and then, after a few classes perhaps, you can take the wider position again and see how it feels and whether you're able to safely maintain it, okay? But we don't have to rush. It's beautiful. We've got all the time in the world. Now, for our Samson stretches, we take this nice long lunge behind us, trying to keep that leg straight, okay? This is not a double bent leg lunge. Lift the arms straight up towards the ceiling. We're not trying to reach them behind ourselves. You can keep your gaze going forward the whole time. Sinking down, really opening up that hip flexor, keeping the pelvic bones pointing forward the whole time, okay? So not opening out into a warrior two, making sure that they're facing forward the whole time that you're doing this exercise. This is just a great active stretch for us to start class with. And also a great stretch to do if you've been, say, sitting in an office chair all day. Now for our wide squat. And we're bringing our shoulders in one at a time towards the midline to get that nice twist in the upper spine. So we're able to keep our hands on our knees, and that helps to keep them safely in position. And then the only things moving are our shoulders, okay? So we're not bouncing up and down out of the squat position. We're definitely not letting the knees, follow behind as the shoulder comes in. Just moving those shoulders, getting that nice twist in the upper spine, since we took care of the lower to mid spine with some earlier exercises. And this is the end of this sequence. And now for cardio. We start with our jumping jacks, and again, reminding ourselves that yes, we've reached the cardio section of the warm-up, but this is still warm-up. So I'm doing a pretty bare minimum cardio, bare minimum jumping jacks, just an opportunity to start getting my breath coming a little bit faster, get my heart rate going a little bit faster, just notifying the cardiovascular system that, hey, we're going to be needing way more oxygen, so you're going to want to start bringing that in more rapidly and transporting it through the body a little more quickly, all right? But does not mean that we're ratcheting up to 11 here, okay? Just nice, easy, consistent. And now for kick-throughs. If you've never done this exercise before, take it one piece at a time. Hand flat on the mat, shoulder over the wrist. Opposite leg is the standing leg. You want 90-degree angle, knee pointing up towards the ceiling. Kick that free leg across the body. Then bring down the knee or the foot and hand that were up and switch to the other side. We don't sink our butts down towards the floor when we do this, and we definitely don't let our knee cave in, okay? So you can take this one as slowly as you need to, and as you get more comfortable with it, you can speed it up, add a little jump in the center, but it's got a lot of components, and take the time to learn the form before you start speeding up. And now we finish out strong with burpees. Remember, we're doing a wave push-up, not a plank push-up, and then that nice big victory clap up at the top. Hiya! All right, so we jump into that plank, And remember that as we're jumping into the plank and then jumping the feet forward again, we need those shoulders nice and stable because they are controlling the movement of the weight. So we don't want them to fall out of alignment while we're doing that. All right? This is our last exercise for the warm-up, and then we'll be ready to go. All right. Good job, everybody. Whoop. Let's get some water, hey? All right. Man, it would be nice if it rained. Come on, clouds. I believe in you. Woo. All right, my friends. Here we are. And I think today we are going to do we're going to do a bunch of tabatas. They're going to be 30 seconds of work to 10 seconds of rest. So our traditional tabata is 20-10. Today it's going to be 30-10. And we're just going to do one exercise at a time. So we're going to really focus in on that exercise. We're not going to have the same degree of variation to sort of keep our brains hyper engaged. So you're going to have to bring that engagement yourself, okay? So let's start with turtle burpees. Anyone who's done class with me for a while knows that if an exercise has turtle in the beginning, we start by rolling back onto our shoulders and then up onto our feet, okay? And once we do that, we're gonna plant our hands and jump back into that plank. Wave push up, jump the feet forward, and then jump straight into the air, and then repeat. So it's a burpee, but with enough components tweaked that you're gonna have to pay close attention to it because it is not the same burpee that we just did in the warm-up. So that is what's gonna keep our brain really engaged. All right. Make sure you have had some water. We'll be talking about hydration all the live long day because wow, is it important. Practically looks like it's snowing outside with a little pollen. Come on, rain, not snow. All right, here we go. And remember, this is an exercise with a lot of component parts to it. So one rep is going to take a lot more time than many other exercises that we would do. So don't worry yourself over the number of reps that you're able to achieve if you're just starting out, because 30 seconds is not actually a ton of time. Focus on trying to push for as much power as you can, okay? You want to push for as much power, and frequently that does translate into speed, but keeping in mind the limitations of time and physics mean that no matter how fast you're going, you're probably not going to get more than, I'd say, 5 reps in, all right, if that. So, and that's okay. That is A-okay, my friends. All right, and again, we want to check in on that form every time that we start, because our form is the most critical component of the bare minimum, okay? Our form is what allows us to keep moving and pushing ourselves for as long as possible, as many years as possible. We're playing the long game here, my friends. We are looking for lives that can be as active as we want for as long as we want, okay? And we do not have to lose tons and tons of mobility and strength as we get older. But the way that we get there is we start by focusing in on form, building our understanding of spatial awareness, building our ability to listen to the signals that our brains and our bodies are sending us, and to honor those signals rather than just trying to ignore them. And this is a process that will continue for, most of our lives, if that's what we want to do. So we focus in a lot on form because I want you to be still doing this class when you hit your 60s. And I know it can be done because I've had clients in their 60s. So, you could be over there looking at me on your laptop and going, well, that's just ridiculous. But no, it's not. Because I know that it can and is being done. And, honestly, Colorado's a really inspiring place to be from that perspective. It's hard because it can also feel like a really intimidating place. There are so many people here who are very fit, who do a ton of different types of activities and all this stuff, and that can be really intimidating. But it's also really inspiring to be like, people are still, hiking up 14ers and doing rock climbing into their 60s and 70s at least. And that's not hypothetical. I'm seeing them. I'm seeing them do things that I could barely manage in my early 30s when I was still in my early 30s. So, it is really nice to have that example and to have that understanding that, oh yeah, we have so much capacity for movement and for activity and exploration, and it is not something that has to go away as we get older. All right? Woo! Good job. Good job, everybody. Hiya. Back to those water bottles. Oh, man. Yeah. Definitely a better feeling class today. All right. Well, let's do some core, because I'm definitely feeling the desire for some core. I think we are going to do front superheroes now. If you're new to this exercise, it seems really nice to begin with, because you start lying on the ground, lying on your stomach like this, and then we're going to lift the legs off the floor as high as they can go, and the chest off the floor as high as it can go. And then lower, lift, lower, lift, lower. So this combines activation of the abdominal muscles and strength and contraction in the back muscles. So the abs are working hard and they're supporting the safety of the back, but they're also extending. So it's the contraction of those back muscles that is lifting the chest, but it's the engagement of the core muscles that's supporting it and not just stressing out the back unnecessarily. All right, so that's our exercise. Fairly self-explanatory, I think. And yeah, always nice to have a reason to just sort of chill out on the ground, on the mat the whole time, and not have to worry about getting up and getting down. All right, here we go. And if this is a new exercise to you, then again, start slow and get used to the movement itself before you go, all right, well, now I want to start adding a little more speed and power, okay? And that is, I mean, that's a given with everything that we do, frankly. We should always, if we're being given a new exercise or a new program, the first few classes, honestly, are about learning and memorizing and sort of building in those new neural pathways. They're not about, okay, well, I need to immediately leap to the head of the class. That's the mentality that sets us up for injury. And injury, let me tell you, goes a fair way to reducing our mobility and our ability to do classes like this as we get older. So one of the reasons that we focus on form so much is because we want to mitigate our risk of injury as we go along. And we can never mitigate it 100%. Obviously, that's just not possible. But we can do a lot. We can achieve a lot in protecting ourselves from injury. And yeah, that just makes everything so much easier. Because let me tell you, as somebody who has chronic pain from an injury and has other components of my movement map, like I have injuries from middle and high school that aren't necessarily plaguing me, you know, in terms of pain, but they've impacted my flexibility, my strength, my balance, doing certain activities. So they still, to this day, have an impact. No matter that it's been, you know, a decade or two since I got those injuries. And yeah, it's not ideal, you know? And that's the stuff that builds over time and compounds over time. So that's why I focus so much on form. And that's why I remind you of that all the dang time. And quite frankly, and I try to say this when new people are in class, but frankly it goes for all of us. If all you are doing is focusing on the bare minimum, you will have a great workout. The bare minimum is 3 things: starting on time, stopping on time, and doing the exercise correctly, okay? Those are the 3 components that we always want to focus on, no matter what else we do. And if all we do is focus on those, we will still have a great workout. And, you know, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing class, it'll still be a great workout if that's all you focus on, okay? And I think that we need to get better at giving ourselves permission to do that, at not expecting or requiring every single workout to be the best, most amazing thing that we've ever done, okay? Because that's A, not achievable, and B, not sustainable. You know, it is okay to go into today's workout and be like, you know what, I really want to focus on just moving through bare minimum. I'm not going for any PRs. I'm not gonna push for a lot of intensity in terms of power. I just want to focus on starting on time, stopping on time, and doing the exercise correctly. And that workout is still going to be so good for you and so valuable. All right? So, yeah. Don't ever get down on yourself for focusing on just those elements, because no matter where you are in your fitness journey, how long you've been doing this, just getting on the mat and focusing on those three things is going to be valuable, okay? Doesn't matter where you are, you know, how far along you are in this process, okay? All right. What shall we do for our next one? Woo. That definitely has an impact on the back. And I kind of want to even that out a little bit. So we haven't actually done boat rocks in a while as an official exercise, so we're going to do them now. So to try and stretch out, sort of release some of the tension on the back, because the back was just doing a lot of contracting, okay? So now we're going to go the opposite way. We are going to do boat rocks, starting balanced up on our tailbone, legs lifted in the air, and we're going to contract our abdominal muscles in order to round the lower back. And we have to hold that contraction so that we can rock back onto our back and then back up into the balance, okay? So I need to really focus in and make sure that those ab muscles are contracted and rounded the whole time, okay? Because if we flatten out the back and then we try to go back there, and now I'm a dead bug, okay? And that's not what we want. This is an exercise where it can be really easy to be like, I'm just not feeling it. So really focus in on that core engagement, because 9 times out of 10, it's not that, oh, my core is just that strong. It's that you're not actually contracting the core. And trust me, it took me years to finally focus in well enough that I could make sure that my core was engaged and was working hard during this exercise. I spent literally years being like, man, I never feel anything from boat rocks. I must, and my core must just be too strong for that exercise. And it was not. It definitely was not. And it's within the last year that I really started ramping up my core engagement on ab exercises. And wow, I have noticed the difference. I can feel so much more strength, and I know that I'm actually using the right muscles because I feel the intensity and the effort every single time. And that's the thing with bodyweight exercises, is for many of them, it is incumbent on us to really hone in and make sure that we are activating those muscles, okay? When we're doing weight training, it's a lot easier because we have this external force in the form of the weight, and that is sort of the indicator that we have of what we're doing and how well we're achieving it. Whereas when we're doing bodyweight exercises, there are a lot of them where it is really incumbent on us to focus in, to be like, okay, this is the muscle group, and I just need to make sure that I'm really activating it, contracting it, using it, generating force with it, maintaining that position the whole time. And it can take a little practice, all right? It can take a little practice to put that added component into your workout. But man, let me tell you, when you do, you really feel it. I absolutely love bodyweight workouts. And I mean, that makes sense because I've been a dancer my whole life. And obviously, dance is generally entirely bodyweight. But it's also just remarkable the results that you see just from bodyweight exercises. And frankly, we can get such an incredible workout with no equipment at all, you know? As long as you have enough space on the floor to do the exercises that you're trying to do, you can get an incredible workout. And that's not to say that weight training isn't valuable, because it absolutely is. It absolutely is incredibly useful. But it's also important to remind ourselves that we do not need a lot of fancy equipment in order to get a good workout. And at the end of the day, if you have yourself, then you have what it takes, okay? Woo! Oh man. Yeah, I'm doing this full set. Let me tell you, my core is feeling really fatigued right now. So if you are not feeling fatigued yet, then I want you to really focus in and contract those abdominal muscles. You should feel the curve in your lower back as you rock back onto your shoulders almost, and then back up onto the tailbone. Oh my God. How many more sets? Ah! Oh, I thought that was going to be the last one. It was not the last one. Oh my goodness. That's okay, because this gives us another opportunity to really hone in, to really focus on that contraction. And you should really be able to feel it at this point. You should absolutely come to the end of this set and be like, oh my gosh, did I just work a lot? Okay, good job everybody. Dang. It's just really satisfying too. I mean, working our cores, strengthening our cores is just, I talk about it all the time, it's such an important stabilizing muscle group, and it is so valuable from a strength perspective, from a power perspective, and from a safety perspective. So I do a lot of ab work in these classes because I enjoy it and because I think it's a really important area to focus on. But we're gonna do something not quite as core focused in this next one. Oh golly, all right. Oh, nope, more water. Okay, so now we're gonna do some high knee runs. Yeah. Okay, so our high knee runs. Oof. Yeah, you are going to have to activate that core here, so sorry about that, but there's really not a ton of things that we do where we don't want to have the core activated. And we're Literally just lying in place. We want to try and get these knees up above the crease in the hips. Barring that, just get them up as high as you can. And try to maintain a little bit of a bend in the knee as you land. You don't want to land on a locked knee, okay? You always want to have a little bit of a bend, a little bit of a spring, okay? And that's the exercise. Very similar to the Flaming Scarlet, but without the need to hold our arms above our heads, which, you know, is useful. And I bust out Flaming Scarlets from time to time, but for people with shoulder issues, it can be really impactful and not in a good way. And this is just as valuable of a way to do this exercise. So focusing on really pulling those knees up, okay? If you want to test out, are they coming up above the crease of my hips? Hold your hands out just straight in front of you and see if your knees are hitting them, okay? And if they are, then you are probably bringing your knees up high enough, unless you're letting your hands droop down. But that is a way to check that. Obviously, another way is to have some sort of a mirror in the space that you're working out in. And I've talked about this before. Mirrors can be a really useful tool when we're exercising because they allow us to actually see our form. And sometimes that can help to really impress upon us components of our form that maybe we were previously missing. If you don't have a mirror, you know, a big enough mirror or a mirror positioned in a room where you can also exercise, another recommendation that I have is actually to take a video of your workout and to look back at it after you're done. And that will also give you the opportunity to just look over your form. And frankly, it has the added benefit of not causing you to maybe hold your head out of alignment because you're trying to look at yourself in the mirror. That can definitely be a danger when you're working out in a room with mirrors. So taking a video, you can go back, you can look at it as many times as you want and really focus in, and you're not splitting your focus between the exercise and the workout and how it looks in the mirror. So pros and cons to each. Obviously, mirror can give us more real-time feedback and can more easily allow us to tweak components of our form to make sure that we are doing the exercise correctly as quickly as possible. So there's certainly a benefit to that. But either way, you're good. We're coming along, my friends. We are moving our way through class. Wow, look at that. Already 5:20. Look at us go. It's a Wednesday afternoon. It's been in the high 90s all damn week, and yet we are here and we are doing some cardio, really focusing in, taking care of ourselves and our health so that we can get out there and take care of our communities and our society in general and all that good stuff. All right. Yeah, that was the starting horn. I don't know why it cut off so weirdly, but hopefully that doesn't happen again. Anyway, yeah, the speaker's still on. These are the things I have to check. Be like, okay, what could that possibly be? Is the speaker off? No, I don't think so. Hey, all right, last set for this exercise. Here we go. Man, getting towards the end of class, definitely start to feel the humidity in this space. You know, and that's one of the things about having a relatively small room that I'm exercising in. There's not a lot of room for airflow in here. And I just have to get right with that. Okay. Let's grab some water. Yeah. Feeling good. Feeling good, my friends. We are having ourselves a fine old time on this Wednesday afternoon. Or at least I hope you are. I am. And definitely appreciating the workout this afternoon, because definitely spending a lot of time sort of hunkered in and looking at my laptop all day. So it's nice to be able to take a step back and move around in space a bit. Okay, so one more set, my friends. And for this set, we're gonna do regular burpees, okay? So just as when we did the turtle burpees, you had to sort of adjust your brain to make sure that you were doing the correct exercise and not defaulting into normal burpees. Now, you're gonna have to switch everything back over and go back to the normal burpees. And you may notice some holdover. You may accidentally try to do a turtle burpee in there, or you may have already scrubbed that from your memory. Hopefully not. Hopefully there's still some pathways in there. But yes, we love / hate our burpees because they are a great all over exercise. They get at the shoulders, they get at the arms, at the legs, a little bit of core with that plank. You get some cardio with the jumps, so some nice power. And you know, they are, I think, a maligned exercise. And I definitely have come around to them as I've gotten stronger overall. But they do take a lot of concentration and a lot of work from many different muscle groups and joints. So if you're feeling, if you're struggling with this exercise, then it's useful to try and figure out which area of it is hardest for you, you know? And if we're not focusing in on that, then we frequently just end up with this sort of generalized, oh, I hate this, which I empathize, but is also not providing us with particularly useful information. So, you know, as you're doing your burpees or any exercise that you feel that you struggle with, really try to focus in and figure out what component is the hardest for you, you know? Maybe for this one, you feel like your shoulders give way and sort of slow you down. Or maybe the wave push-up feels hard because you don't have enough strength in your triceps. A lot of possibilities. And figuring out what components of the exercise are tougher for you helps to inform what you want to work on going forward, all right? So, you know, for me, I had a lot of exercises that I really I didn't like them, I didn't feel good doing them, and they always sort of frustrated me. And what I figured out over time was the common thread that they shared was that they all required a lot of strength and stamina from my shoulders that I didn't necessarily have. And once I put effort into strengthening my shoulders and stabilizing them, suddenly all of those exercises became so much easier. So now, it's not that the exercises are difficult, it's that I'm now not fighting against, but working to reprogram my reactions to the exercises, because I spent a ton of time just sort of having this knee-jerk reaction of distaste for a bunch of these exercises, and that can take time to go away. So really, the faster that you can do that work, put that effort into figuring out what is going to help you in performing those exercises, the less deprogramming work you'll need to do down the line. All right, second to last set. Oh, and you know what I always say, this is our last set of class. So you do not need to be saving this energy for anything. You can dig in and just find those last pockets, whatever you've got left in the tank. As we go into this last set, we see the finish line, and we're gonna dig in, and we are going to sprint as fast as we can with whatever we've got left, because we do not need to save it anymore. We can use that energy up. We can show ourselves that we've had a little more in the tank than we thought we did, and we can end on a really high note. All right, good job, everybody. Let's do some stretching, yeah? Okay, so we're gonna start, just because that's basically where I am. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees just open up as far as they can. So basically, I'm just trying to not hold any tension or activation in my hips, and just let my knees open up as far as they can. And here again, you can see differences in the flexibility between your hips, okay? We're not symmetrical creatures, so frequently we will have a stronger side and a weaker side. We will have a more flexible, less flexible side. And for me, you can see my left knee is down almost to the floor. My right knee is pointing up towards the ceiling much more. And it's not that I'm clenching this hip or anything. It's just I don't have as much flexibility in this hip as I do in the other one. So from this position, we want to fold over and stretch in the hips, but we want to bring our lower back as close to the thighs as possible to really intensify and deepen the stretch. So how we're going to do that is, instead of just collapsing over, taking a flat back position, so just trying to keep a tabletop position, and then I'm just going to walk my hands forward one at a time. I'm not keeping a perfect flat back, but I'm trying to maintain it as much as possible. Because I'm trying to maintain it, it's bringing my lower back closer to my hips. And then when I get out as far as I can just fold the rest of the way. And then I have a nice deep stretch in the hips, okay? So flat back and walk one hand at a time. If anyone is around and wants to help with your stretching, somebody putting a knee in the small of your back can help to push you a little more deeply into the stretch. Once you're here, just shake the neck out. Make sure you're not clenching those neck muscles. And we're going to take 4 deep breaths right here. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. And you can walk the hands back up. And now we're going to do our pretzel stretch, okay? So we're going to get into the position one leg at a time. So leg number 1, I want that knee folded against the floor, and I want to bring that heel to the outside of my opposite hip, okay? So that's leg number 1. Leg number 2, I want to keep the knee pointing straight up at the ceiling and bring the foot to the outside of leg number 1, okay? Then I'm going to take the opposite arm from leg number 2, hook it around, hug that knee into my chest, and get a nice stretch in the hip right there. And then I'm going to add a twist into the spine by opening up my other shoulder, reaching that arm behind me, and looking back towards that arm. Just gives me a nice twist. So we've got the hip stretch, we've got the twist in the spine, and we're going to take 3 deep breaths here. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. And 3. We turn back to the front, but before we unfold totally, I'm going to take this ankle up on top of this knee. I'm going to keep the foot flexed to protect this other knee, because what we're going to do now is we're going to fold on over, okay? And if you thought you felt a stretch in the hip before, you're really going to feel it now, okay? So fold on over as far as you can. You can rest your head on your shin bone if you want to. Remember to keep that foot flexed. And let's take 4 deep breaths right here. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. just come off the knee there, unfold the legs, shake out those knees a little bit, okay, because they've been sort of crunched, or at least the leg one has. You can do a quick massage on the sides and behind of the knee. Shake them out a bit again. And now into the other side. So, leg one, knee against the floor, heel to the outside of the opposite hip. Leg two, knee pointing up towards the ceiling, foot on the outside of leg number one. Opposite arm around, hug that knee into your chest, get that nice stretch in the hip. Then add the twist in the spine by opening that opposite shoulder, reaching the arm behind you, looking back towards it as far as you can. And let's take 3 deep breaths right here. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. And 3. And back to the front. Bring this ankle up onto the knee. Keep the foot flexed to protect the other knee. Fold on over as far as you can. Make sure your neck is relaxed. You can rest it on your shin if that is a possibility for you. And let's take 4 deep breaths here. Here we go. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And 4. Round up, let the ankle fall off the foot. Extend those legs in front of you, shake out the knees. Maybe a nice little massage on the sides and behind that knee. There we go. And now, I'm going backwards from what I usually do. But now let's just stand up really quickly. And let's just do some neck stretching. Obviously, I've been thinking about that a lot, so I don't know why I put my glasses on for that. So we're going to start just bringing our chin to chest, and then rolling the head over to one side so my ear is pointing down towards my shoulder. And then let it roll forward and to the other side. And let's just go back and forth. Slowly, we're not in a rush here. You can feel that stretch along the scalenes on each side. And we're not rolling all the way backward, okay? So we're just going side to side. And then bring the chin back down the chest, and then head back to neutral position. And now we're going to look to one side directly over the shoulder, back through the center into the other side. And let's go back and forth. Again, we're not rushing. We're not in a cartoon. There's no need to be whipping your head back and forth. All right? And then stop in the center. And now we're going to let that ear come down towards one shoulder. Bring that arm up and along the side of the head. And I'm not really pulling down on my head. I don't need to. Just the added weight from laying my arm on the side of my head intensifies the stretch. okay? So don't yank down on your head. Just, this is one of those few moments where gravity gets to actually help out a little bit, okay? And we just have that additional bit of a stretch because of the weight of our arm on the head. Oof, this is a nice stretch for me, I'll tell you what. All right, release the arm first, then lift the head. And we're gonna do the other side. So same thing. Again, making sure that you're not yanking down, just letting that added weight intensify the impact of gravity, which will intensify the stretch. Nice breaths. We're not doing counted breaths right now, but make sure that you are taking nice, deep breaths, okay? And release that arm. Head back up to center, and let's just close by massaging out the scalene. So take one hand to that same side of your neck. You're gonna feel a thick cord of muscle that comes down and feels like it attaches right here, this nub at the top of your collarbone. So just start from there, bring your hand up a little bit, and just grab on to that hunk of muscle. And we're just sort of pinching and releasing. And you can move up and down the muscle. And believe me, you'll feel it, because you know what? Our neck muscles are doing a lot of work for us every single day. And we don't really think about it, but they are responsible for keeping this giant bowling ball safe. And that's a lot, all right? So we massage that first side, and then same thing on the second side. Woo! Man, I am feeling the intensity even more on that second side. Just doing that nice pinching motion up and down the muscle. Deep breaths, particularly if you start to feel intense sensations. Frequently, your nerves don't know how to deal with that, so you start to go, wait, is this pain? And that's another reason why you want to take nice deep breaths and just sort of relax that intensity before it convinces your brain that, oh, I need to activate the muscle. Because what do when we think we need to activate the muscle? Well, we contract it. And that's not what we're trying to do right now. All right, my friends. There we go. I think, falling over a little bit. I think that was an excellent class. And I am so glad that y'all joined me on it. Oh my goodness. All right, let's grab some water, yeah? There we go. There we go. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for joining me here today, my lovelies. This felt good. This felt like a really good class. And I hope it did for you as well. Hope you got that nice midweek pop of energy to carry you through whatever the next couple of days have on deck for you. And yeah, I am quite pleased. Yes, I'm still yawning. It's okay. It's acceptable. And we've got 2 more classes left this week. So Friday at 5 p.m. Mountain Time is Functional Home Fitness, where we do weight training using objects you can find around the house. And then Saturday morning at 9 a.m. is the weekend kickoff, which is our awesome strength and stamina focused class. So definitely join for either or both of those streams. They are good times and very different classes too. They have their own personalities, which I always enjoy. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. All those handles will be in my end cards, but they are all variations on Blanche Case Fitness. My YouTube channel is where I upload all the VODs from these streams, so you never have to miss a class, even if you can't make the live cast. So definitely head over there and subscribe. I'm still running behind in uploading things, so there's probably going to, I'm about to run out of room on my freaking laptop, so there's definitely going to be just a massive, like, hello, here's everything going up soon. If you want to help support me financially in making these streams, I have a Coffee account for one-time donations, or you can subscribe to this channel if you're able to support a little bit more long-term. Either way, your support is always very much appreciated. And if you want to help me keep growing this channel and this community, then please tell your friends, loved ones, co-workers, anyone looking for an awesome fitness class. I stream 4 days a week. We've got a great community here, and the more the merrier. All right, my friends, make sure that you finish off that water and keep hydrating. Fitness Friend says to remind you that it's still 91 degrees here, so you definitely want to keep hydrating. Make sure to get some food. Start replenishing those glycogen stores. We used up a ton of them today in class. We want to make sure to get that energy back. Take that celebratory post-workout shower, aka the best shower of the day, and I will see you all back here again on Friday. Mwah! Have a great night.